welcome to another Wind Down Wednesday presented by Hicks Marketing. I'm Nicole Hoagland and
Here's the
Alicia
wine.
Hicks is here. I don't have mine. I drank my coffee already, so this is going to be fun. I am buzzed and ready to go.
Right.
But today we wanted to bring you a topic that has been on our minds for a while now, but it's about building your industrial marketing engine. And it all starts with, what are you doing in your business right now that's working, and how can you expand upon that to be consistent? So Alicia, why don't you kind of go into how you define what an industrial marketing engine is?
Well, so this started for me, and I'm trying to, usually his book is behind me on that stack that changes, but Ray Dalio has a book called Principles. I'm a big Ray Dalio fan, and I've read his book, and his approach to building his business has been looking at your business as a machine, an actual industrial machine, and look at the inputs, look at the throughputs, look at the parts, what's working, what's broken down, what needs tweaking. And that just excites me, because that's just another way that I can look at marketing where it really makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more to it. The second component of this is, we all know what's happening. We're in crazy times. What's going on may or may not happen with the global economy and our economy. And we're looking at we've got an upcoming election. There's a new year around the corner. And it really comes back to blocking and tackling and fundamental basics going into turbulent times.
Mm-hmm.
Big article this week in the Wall Street Journal, might have been a holdover from last weekend, about chief marketing officers defending their ad spend. That always makes me laugh, having spent many, many years in the advertising side and going through boom and bust cycles. If advertising is working and getting you results, why would you cancel it because the economy is down? You wouldn't. There's a lot of ad spend out there that people just spend because they think they need to do it, and they're not really sure what works. It's the old adage, cancel half of your advertising spend. The problem is which half. Half of all advertising is wasted, but we don't know which half. I think that's the quote.
Well, and it's also the age of, let's throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, and whatever sticks, let's keep, and whatever doesn't, let's get rid of.
There's the pressure to do things that other people are doing and spend money. And I've seen that before, especially in large corporations. You get an automatic 5% of top line revenue budget to spend, and you got to spend it.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, again, what's working? What gets the most return? And so now the water's being drained, and people have to ask themselves, what do I need? What's must have? What's working? And what junk needs to be chucked? So I get excited when I see reevaluation of advertising. And that's different from marketing.
Yes.
And as we go into uncertain times, it's the benefit of blocking and tackling. It's back to the fundamentals. That's going to get you through it. So back to the whole machine analysis of marketing. We're working on this with several of our clients, which is, let's look at your engine. And so email, your database list, your website, your social media. What am I missing?
All right. So we've got email, website, social media, database, collateral,
your
events, branding,
white papers, content that you're developing. What sort of magnets do you have that are drawing people in? We've had an uptick lately in inbound leads. We're seeing it at the client level. It's always exciting when you get, inbound leads, because the conversation is different.
Yeah.
So when someone calls you and says, I have a problem and I saw this thing and you have a solution, it's a completely different value of conversation at a totally different level. And everybody wants as many of those as we can get. That makes me hopeful going into the end of the year and the new year, because people are looking for good advice. They're looking for, what do I need to do best practices to really get those fundamentals tuned up.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think too, when we're talking about kind of like this marketing engine, it's looking at all of the different pieces, like we talked about: website, email, social, videos, collateral, branding, all of those things, seeing what is actually working right now, seeing what maybe needs a tune up or a tweak, or seeing what may need to be paused to get the other pieces working better, so
Right.
that you fundamentally can then add that back in at some point. Because I think that's where we've seen in recent weeks, um, clients and prospective clients come to us and they're like, I just stopped because I didn't want to break anything else.
Right.
And for us, that means from the foundation level, something happened or something broke or something wasn't being done consistently, or a ramp up happened and you tried to add too much into that engine and it kind of combusted without realizing what either the consequences are or what the goals and rewards are that you're looking for out of it.
And speaking of goals, I think everybody's goal is, because we hear this over and over again, we want, give me a process that I
Mhm.
can follow. Show it to me, and I'm using hand gestures because it's, visual. Whiteboard right over here. Show me what inputs of my machine there are and how we're going to run it
Mhm.
so that I can evaluate the output. Well, that's easy enough, right?
But I think that the issue we're running into is it's easy enough to give the process in that system, but how consistent can you personally be at it as a client or as someone that doesn't necessarily have that marketing support? So that's where we come in and we help build that consistency, because that's what you were saying before. We're seeing a lot of inbound leads, but it's because we've been consistent for our clients in
Right.
those very basic things. We're not talking about throwing thousands of dollars at social media advertising or Google advertising. We're talking about the organic foundational marketing that we've been able to do for the clients that we have, and that now is leading to getting those inbound leads that are better conversations that are leading to closed business. So
And that takes months. That's
mm-hmm.
not, if it, what is it that I always say, if it was easy, we'd all be making $5 an hour. Everybody would be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It requires commitment. It requires a steady hand. And it requires tweaking and tuning of what you're doing to make it better. When something works, do more of it. When something
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work, well,
Pull back
evaluate.
and
Does it need a
yeah.
chance or does it need to go?
Yeah.
So these are the conversations that we're having, and people that see the most benefits are the ones that have really held the course. I mean, we've got clients that have been committed to LinkedIn for a long period of time, or social media, say, and it's just now paying off with not only their reach, they're expanding their audience, they're being seen as a thought leader in their field. And that's
Well,
what you want. But you're not going to get that with drive-by posting.
Well, and because of that, it's not just it, because it all like it's the engine. It all works together. All the pieces at some point start functioning and it starts becoming a well-oiled machine. But because of the social media efforts we've been doing, our clients are seeing their email list grow with better
Right.
qualified email candidates, and they're seeing consistent email sends, which leads to better responses. And because of that, we're able to pull more content out of them, which leads to more blog posts and different ways that we can repurpose it. And then that creates the process that drives everything we do for our clients on a weekly basis. I think that's super important too, is once you figure out what's working for your marketing engine, it's knowing that on a weekly basis you have to check it. It's not like a set it and forget it and every quarter come back and see what's going on. It's one of those things, it's a constant need to be reevaluated and checked up on to make sure all the parts are still running well, because once something breaks, you can immediately go in and see what the issues are and see how you need to tweak it, as opposed to a set and forget and coming back and everything's imploded, kind of like the conversations we've had a couple weeks ago with one particular potential client. And now they've almost had to stop everything because they basically tried to ramp up something and set it and forget it. And now all of a sudden there's something broken.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen,
No.
but it happens. And also what we're seeing now is there's just a lot of turmoil in the social media channel in general, with recent developments with change of ownership and change of policies with Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm just FYI, I mean, I look at that as maybe it's time to take a look at Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of saw it as a fire hose of cesspool fluid blasting out there. And now I'm thinking there may be some muting of some of the noise, because if they go to a pay platform, which
Yeah.
there's been some back and forth, is it going to be $8 or $19 a month? That will eliminate some people, and that will make that system better. Might be time to take a look at it. Facebook totally face planted last week.
In Instagram played a trick on everyone on Monday on Halloween when they glitched and accounts disappeared and followers disappeared and content disappeared, and people started realizing that, I mean, social platforms are great for growing your business. It's great, especially if you're always directing people back to your website and back to an email sign up and making sure you capture them as your own. Because at some point, like we saw, I mean, those social media platforms can change ownership. They can go away. They can really do whatever they
really
want.
Exposed,
And
you could have a problem when they make one change.
Yeah. And you don't own any of that. So
right.
It's good to always be able to be present on them, but also in your system and process when it comes to your marketing engine. How are you driving them back always to your website, to your database, to things that make sense to move the needle forward and moving your business towards the goals that you have?
Well, if you have a plan to take the conversation off the platform, then you'll always have that lead. You'll have ownership of, I hate to say lead, but you'll have the goal is always to develop a relationship with people and get them off that platform and onto yours so that you can keep that. I wanted to mention, I was yesterday furiously posting for clients, and I'm moving, and Facebook made a change, and I got a funky message I hadn't seen before, like boost this post or cancel. And I was like, I don't want to boost this post. I'm just posting the post. I hit cancel, up pops a message that says, are you sure? Because you're going to lose everything if you cancel. And then I went, wait, I'm half paying attention. I don't want to lose everything that I just did. So whatever I clicked, boom, your post is now under review. I mean, it automatically charged my credit card boost a post in a very tricky way. So we've gotten calls and emails from people who are like, hey, I'm stuck. Some of the changes that Meta has made with the way you post. I've also noticed, I'd be curious to see if you noticed this, Facebook will not let me browser back out of it. So if I haven't been able to do that in a while. Well, I will go up to my URL bar and click a drop down and go to another platform, and it'll reload right back to Facebook. I literally have to close the browser. Now, whether that's a Firefox thing, that could be something that people are noticing, other people. And I've noticed that for a while, but these tricky little changes where they just snagged $7 off my credit card to boost a post that I didn't want boosted. But what if they did that? What if they tricked people at scale yesterday to add? And of course, there was no way for me to cancel it. Yeah, so you just had to let it run. Live help to say I need to unwind it. No obvious way to stop. I didn't mean to do it. Nothing. They took $7 on my credit card, and that post is boosted. And there's nothing I can do. I went in today to try to stop it. No way to cancel. And that, I think that also goes back to what we were talking about, is really knowing what's going on within your marketing plan and contingencies in place for when things like that happen, when a post automatically gets boosted and you can't cancel. What are the ramifications, and what changes can you make quickly within your marketing engine to make sure that it still runs smoothly and it's still operating, and that doesn't necessarily take a pause for anything. And I think at the end of the day, it's really figuring out what that marketing engine is, how you can keep it going consistently and making sure it's well oiled, and what systems and processes and check-ins you have in place to really get the goals and the business ideas you have in mind going forward and consistently going forward. And to do that, you just talk to us. That's the brilliant thing. Don't go it alone. And we'll hold accountability with analysis. We love a good dashboard. Yes. Here's what's happening. Here's the results that's generating. Do we, how long do we stay the course? Do we see life to things? Because you can generally see if something's going to have value to continue, and have those conversations. And no one that we work with ever misses a
A
conversation.
weekly check-in or a weekly dashboard review.
No one ever cancels their dashboard review meeting ever. They always make it, because that's we get to talk about the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And we make decisions about what changes need to be made in real time to get better results for next week.
And realistically, the time frame it needs to take to make those changes and how long we want to maintain those changes to see results.
It's hard to make that. It's hard to do that for your business on your own, because you get busy. We'll look at it at the end of the week. We'll look at it at the end of the month. We'll look at it at the end of the quarter. And then, the time has gone by and nothing's working. And we are that built-in accountability structure, keeps moving things forward.
Well, and I think that the fun way you can look at it is we are your industrial marketing engine technicians. Like, we come in and we make sure every single week, everything under the hood is running smoothly.
Marketing technicians.
Yes. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this Wind Down Wednesday episode. If you liked everything that you talked about and you would like to speak to me and Alicia, make sure that you book a call from the link below. And we'll be excited to help get your industrial marketing engine running. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.